So anyway, this guy, Zoran Mamdani, I think that's how I say his name. I don't know. I've never heard his name spoken. And ended up winning the New York City mayor primary, which, I mean, New York City is a really popular. It's like, you know, the most famous city probably in America. And so, you know, this is like pretty much nation news. You know, a lot of the things that like he represents, things that he says, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of it. But there are things that I do like. Like, for example, he's young. I think that this is the way that a lot of guys that are my age feel. And like any of you guys that are like around, you know, my age, tell me if you feel this way. We are sick of having the fucking some 70, 80, 60-year-old guy running everything. Like, and also they do it wrong. They do it fucking wrong. These people don't understand computers and they want to go ahead and run the country. No, you need to understand how to use your smartphone. Nope, I'm out. Maybe he'll lose the general election, but New York City's pretty Democrat, and so this guy's pretty much locked in to be the new mayor, right? But I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, so we'll look at a few comments about this. I think also the guy's really charismatic. He's got a great smile. He's photogenic, etc. And I mean, look, yeah, he looks like a trustworthy, nice guy. Also, there's clips like this. This is a really good example of the reason why Zoran won. And take a look at this right here.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Left to right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo.
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my 4th trip to Israel, followed by my 5th trip to Ukraine, 2 of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines of the global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr.
You got my vote. There it is. It's that simple. Why would you trust this bullshit? Because at least he's pretending to care. These other people don't even pretend. They don't even pretend. They're not even trying. They're openly saying, yes, we're going to go over to Israel. Yeah, sorry, guys, but he's horrible? Good. Okay, so then, and they should listen to this. You think this guy's so horrible? Okay, then stop putting up people that put Israel ahead of the United States. Yeah, all right, because as a show of force, I would rather vote for somebody who is fucking horrible. I would rather flip the fucking board over. I would rather vote for a fucking a crackhead under a bridge than stay inside of the little tiny fucking narrow damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Sorry about my voice, guys. I'm running on empty, guy. I'm gonna be totally real. I've had a stressful week, and it's probably going to keep being stressful. It's rough. And so anyway, speaking of crack, there you go. And anyway, so elect a terrorist? Yes. As a show of force and as a show of, what's the word? Of protest. Yes. Yes. That's right. That's right. We're so sick of this that we will elect a terrorist. That's right. That was my viewpoint with Trump. That was. And like, yes, LOL, what? That's right. Because again, and no. It's a show of defiance. It is a show of defiance. It is a protest vote. It is a fuck you. It is a no, I'm not going to sit inside of this little box that you put me in. I'm going to go off the fucking rails. And unless you want to follow me, you're going to lose. And the thing is that it's a show of ignorance. Good. Hopefully they listen this time. Stop giving us shitty candidates. Stop giving us shitty candidates that prioritize Israel over New York City. New York City's a fucking PvP server. There's crazy people everywhere in New York City. There's illegal migration constantly. There's fucking what is it? There's rent problems. Nobody can afford to live there. People are having their shit stolen constantly. All of this stuff. It's Gotham. Like, everybody knows New York City was based off of Gotham fucking City, right? Or sorry, Gotham City was based off New York City, and that's the Batman city where everything goes wrong. And so the fact is, no, absolutely not. And my NYC KDA is watch Eric Adams' interview talking about this guy. Yeah, I will. And who's truly ignorant there? And the people who are, it's not about being ignorant. It's about showing defiance against a system that intentionally disenfranchises you and creates a false dichotomy between different people that will not give you any results. And at a certain point, in my opinion, I think the only way to play is to flip the fucking board over and say, fuck you. So an anarchist? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I would rather live in anarchy than managed, controlled tyranny occupied by a foreign nation, slowly declining into feudalism. No. No, no, no.
Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel?
So look at this shit. What the fuck is wrong with you?
No,
As mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor,
And I want to reiterate, I don't agree with this guy on a lot of things. I don't like a lot of things this guy represents. But that doesn't matter.
standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs.
Do you remember what I said before about how I always vote for the most disruptive candidate? Whoever will cause the most problems, whoever will destabilize the system the most, that's who I vote for. Because I think the system needs to be destabilized, because I think that it is, the stabilization of the system is done in a way that is, bad. He's the literal opposite of your whole politics. I know. That's my point. Yes. That's the whole point.
That's in their synagogues and temples, or at their homes, or at the subway.
That's not a smart way of thinking. You see, a lot of people, and I understand your point of view, and I respect your point of view, but that's not the point of view that I want to live by. My personal opinion is that choosing the lesser of two evils, it seems to me, this is just the way I feel, it seems to me that the lesser of two evils becomes more evil every time. Just over time. Maybe like 20 years ago, it was more reasonable. And it becomes more and more and more evil. And the other one becomes worse and worse and worse. You're still choosing evil, right? Exactly. And so chat's getting mad when you don't even live in New York. Yeah, this guy's better than Cuomo by a long shot. Cuomo's a proven corrupt politician. Exactly. People don't understand that after electing the guy, it's going to make people more happy with Republicans. Yeah, and again, and I know this is probably going to be very surprising for people to hear. And again, I don't even really it's a protest vote, basically, and I think a lot of people should embrace that. And here's one thing to keep in mind: that all of the establishment politics and everything establishment media, the one thing that they are more afraid of than anything is a person like me, who is willing to flip the board over, throw things into chaos, ruin everything, and just say, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. Because I'm so sick and tired of this bullshit.
Platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
Do you see this? Listen to this.
As the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever.
as mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just
as we've
yes or
seen-
no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
So this is it. They asked him which place that he would visit first, and then he says he'd stay in New York to make New York better. And then they ask him a question that's like, do you believe in the Jewish state of Israel? They're trying to catch him in something that's going to make him look bad. They're trying to misrepresent him. And again, hopefully you guys respect it. It's so obvious. It's so fucking obvious.
I believe Israel has the right to exist
Not
As a Jewish state?
Notice.
as a state with equal rights.
He won't, he
Not
won't
as a
say it
Jewish
has a
state.
right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very
And
clear.
his
on that.
Well, they do. They have a right to exist as a Jewish state. They have a right to exist however they want, because they like. I don't like this idea that a state doesn't have the right to exist as an ethno state. It very clearly does, because we're not God. Like, I mean, basically, like, sovereign nations are not accountable to anybody else. So if a nation wants to exist as an ethno-state, that is their right and their own prerogative, because they are a sovereign nation to make that decision.
answer was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that.
That's what he was trying to say.
No. Unlike
No,
you,
you never-
unlike
you
you,
never
I answer
said
questions
no.
very
Okay.
directly.
All right.
My goal would be to take my first trip to Israel. My wife's life work in this area means a lot to our family, and it could coincide with my young son Miles' bar mitzvah, if you'd like to have his bar mitzvah.
Okay, but
Man, and so big surprise. And this is not even a topic that should be discussed at a mayoral debate. This is subversion. Yes, the problem is he might say he will visit Israel, but we all know a big politician bows down to Israel. He's just saying that he won't. You can't be a politician without unwavering, outspoken allegiance with Israel. Well, eventually somebody will be. Eventually somebody will be a politician who doesn't express allegiance to Israel. And when that person does come out, and I think, again, voting for this guy moves the Overton window closer to that guy getting elected. This guy might not be that guy, but this guy paves the path for the next guy. And we'll watch this.
My
This
team
clip
says
here
I move
too.
my hands too much in these videos. So for this one, they're staying in my pockets. The other day on the subway, I met a New Yorker. But get this, they vote in California. I know this is true for many of you. You're Democrats who've chosen not to vote here because you believe your vote counts more elsewhere. Every 4 years, you vote absentee from your parents' address in Philly or 3 apartments and go in Atlanta. But come on, you live here. I get it, I do.
Keep them in your pockets.
Especially after this last election. We all wanted to defeat Donald Trump, and New York felt like a lock. But in many ways, this election, Trump's back on the ballot. We have a choice between Andrew Cuomo, funded by the same billionaires who put Donald Trump back in the White House, and our campaign, who will tax billionaires to make the city affordable. It's a referendum on where our party goes. So in just this one instance, ask yourself, WWDFGD, what would a disgraced former governor do? Well, Cuomo changed his registration immediately after not having lived here for more than 30 years.
There's also that. What the fuck? This guy's trying to run for mayor at a place he doesn't even live? What the hell are you talking about?
So if he's voting from his new address, so should you. With just single digits between us and Andrew Cuomo, your vote can make the difference. You have
It
until
did.
June 14th, this Saturday, to change your registration in New York City. So head to
Yep.
ZahranforNYC.com/vote. Let's win this thing. I do.
Keep them in your pockets.
Yep, and there it is. And this is again, it's a very simple interview, very simple commercial. And that's, I think, what people, it's annoying. I mean, people could say it's annoying or whatever. But I think in general, I think that he has a message that resonates with a lot of people. And I think especially as more young people, I think that as more young people, and like, he's not really super young, he's 33, right? And I'm older than that, so I don't know what that says. But my point is, I think that there are a lot of these issues that I think mainstream media and I think the boomer establishment somehow that's still in power is like fucking desperately hanging on to, like bullshit with Israel and other things like this. These are just simply not relevant to an average person, right? He looks 40. I mean, I don't know. But like either way, that's what I'm saying. But anyway, so I'll watch a video about this because this was obviously very, very big news. But as I said, I know that a lot of people might not like my my methods, but I truly do believe that the only way to overcome people like him and the, like Israel first lobby is to just simply vote against it at any cost. Bro would vote for Garrosh Hellscream as president? Yeah, I would. Absolutely, of course. And so let's go back over here. I'll look and see it. And Trump came out yesterday after your stream and said 24 hours ending the war was sarcasm. Oh, no, I did not see that. I didn't at all. Yeah, voting for a communist Islamist because you hate Jews is crazy. Yep, and keep saying it's because you hate Jews, and you're going to keep getting more communist Islamists, and you get what you fucking deserve. Yep, keep playing that game, keep lying, keep misrepresenting things, keep trying to overplay your hand. Yeah, keep doing it. Keep doing it. It's working out great.
The results are coming in what could be a real-time referendum on the future of the Democratic Party. Many analysts see New York City's mayoral race as a litmus test between establishment Democrats and the younger, more progressive wing of the party. CNN's chief data analyst, Harry Enton, is with us at the table now. Harry.
There is a huge component to this that's not even being discussed. And it's the fact that a lot of these older politicians have goals, issues, and problems that do not resonate with the population. Like, a guy almost won the mayor, one mayor in New York City by just saying the rent is too damn high. That was it. That's all he needed to say. And that was massively effective.
Ooh.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Earthquake.
Whoa! Yeah. Okay, tell us where we are right now.
I mean, look. Mandani is ahead by plenty at this point. You can see on your screen right there, that's a 7-point lead right now
Might turn it up a little bit.
in terms of the first round votes. Now, obviously, New York uses a ranked choice voting system where essentially you eliminate all the candidates, you reallocate their ballots because the folks who get a ballot will rank their candidates 1 through 5, and you essentially reallocate the votes until one candidate gets at least 50%. But I will tell you this, if you look on your screen, you see the third place candidate, Brad Lander.
It's pretty obvious. I mean, this guy is on this guy's side, so I mean, like, it's over, right? It's so over.
Co-endorsed or cross-endorsed with Mandani. Most of his votes are very likely to go to Mandani, and not a single pre-election poll that I saw had Cuomo getting anywhere near the type of support that he would need once those ballots reallocated.
Yeah.
That lead will almost certainly stand up, and that is why I do believe that Cuomo has conceded the Democratic nomination.
And he's called Mamdani to concede, which is extraordinary.
Yep.
Let me tell you this. I study New York City politics in my entire life. The only New York City primary that I think is tantamount to this in terms of the earthquake is 1989 when David Dinkins came in and defeated Ed Koch, who was running for a 4th term for mayor. That is the type of earthquake that we're seeing here, and he's done it. He came into this race down, 30, 40 points to Andrew Cuomo, the former governor, who everyone thought was a huge favorite. Apparently not. He did it by activating younger voters, by activating very liberal voters, by cutting into Andrew Cuomo's base with black voters. The bottom line is this. Mamdani is now a force to be reckoned with in Democratic politics nationwide.
It shifts the window to discussing things and topics that are relevant to everyday average people rather than these abstractions. And, like paying, some sort of tribute to foreign interests.
Wide going forward.
Joy, you talked to him.
Is it true he only got citizenship 7 years ago and he's a socialist from Africa? Well, yeah, I mean, we voted for one of those in 2008 too, and so what do you expect? I mean, we've done this before.
Friday.
We had him on the show on Friday. We also had Brad Lander on, and Brad Lander talked about being tackled by ICE agents as he was trying to defend immigrants. What Mamdani said that I thought was really extraordinary, he would be the first immigrant mayor of the preeminent immigrant capital in the United States, a city that...
I'll add in, I also think that if you run for any public office and you hold any public office at all in the United States, you need to renounce all citizenship from any other country. Dual citizens cannot run for public office, should not be able to run for public office. That would be nice, yes. And there's no reason. New rules? Yep, absolutely. So I want to make sure you guys understand that, a chaos vote is not necessarily a complete endorsement of an individual. What about U.S. territories? Debatable. I'd have to think about that more. I mean, I'm thinking about other countries that aren't U.S. territories, but probably I'd be okay with that. I mean, if they're U.S. territories, I would probably be like, I guess, like if I had to guess.
Is a sanctuary city where people are still being accosted at their immigration hearings. And so I think just symbolically, I think this is a message about people's revulsion in the treatment of immigrants by this administration.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with that. Indeed, talking about egg prices and rents meta like Trump did, but nothing changed for the better, only empty promises. Well, egg prices did go down. They absolutely went down. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like you could just look at the graph, and the graph shows that it went down. And so, like, immigrants, I think, obviously, you know, this girl is a fucking retard, right? She's always been a retard. That's why she got kicked off of her show. I'm surprised that she made her way onto CNN. But the reality is that, you know, illegal aliens, yeah, I think people do have a big problem with that. But legal immigration, I think there's less of an issue with. But, you know, again, there's, like, limits to everything.
And about the ways in which the Adams administration has been complicit in that.
Can I
think
play
that's
a little
part
bit
of what's
Joy, from your
She's a
interview
retard.
with him,
Sure.
where he talks about this? Let's listen.
You know, I would be the first immigrant mayor of this city in generations, and I would be proud to be that, but even prouder for what I would actually do. This is a city of immigrants. We've said for so long, 40% of New Yorkers were born outside of this country, and yet what we've seen in the current mayoral administration, and even in Andrew Cuomo's campaign, is an insufficient readiness to actually take on Donald Trump and protect New Yorkers. One of the things we should be proudest of in New York City are our sanctuary city laws. These are laws that have kept New Yorkers safe for decades, been defended by Republicans and Democrats alike for that time period until the demagoguery of this current mayor. I would proudly stand up for
Which, by the way, this is what I'm saying. I completely disagree with everything he's saying here. I think this is totally fucking retarded. It's completely un-American, and I think sanctuary cities should be totally illegal. That's my viewpoint.
those laws.
So he's talking there also
I think
about
anybody who even like allows it or facilitates it should be charged.
Eric Adams, who we haven't really talked about because he's not in this primary, but is expected to run on another line in the general. This will be an indictment on
You would
Eric.
have voted for him? I would have voted for him over the other guys, yeah. Because the other guys would have done the same thing. Yeah. When every option is bad, flip the board over. Yeah. That's right. Come back with better options next time. You don't want the board flipped over again.
Eric Adams, too, and his willingness to, I guess, in the words of Mamdani, stand up to Donald Trump.
There's no one happier after Mamdani and his family than Eric Adams tonight, because everyone over 50 years old who remembers Times Square in the 1970s and the 1980s when you couldn't walk through, it was all pornography and crack and muggings and rapes and robberies. Everyone who remembers that is going to vote for Eric Adams. The New York Times, who didn't do an endorsement, did say, please don't vote for Mamdani, as did the Daily News, as did the New York Post. So anybody who knows how bad New York can get all came out against Mamdani, because a 33-year-old with zero experience running anything except a little office with 5 employees should not be run.
Great. You know what I hear whenever I hear that? I hear that a 33-year-old with no experience that has no fucking idea what he's doing managed to outmaneuver a career politician. I think that says more about the career politician than it does about the person who won. That's just me. That's a skill issue? Yeah.
Running the city of New York.
Donald Trump is president of the United States. His experience was being on The Apprentice. He's head of the Pentagon, whose experience was being a weekend anchor on Fox. Are you kidding me? He's got Dr. Oz is in his administration. Dr. Oz,
you're leaving out something. She's a 33.
She's so dumb. She's actually so stupid. She's actually trying to compare Donald Trump, who's been involved tangentially in politics for almost half a century, to a 33-year-old guy that has not been involved in politics in the same way. Like, Donald Trump's been involved in politics longer than this guy's been alive. Like, it's insane. How do you even compare
You're a
the two?
socialist who's never
It's
run a
ridiculous.
popsicle stand.
He's literally in city government right now. Sorry,
not in
after
city government,
Donald
he's in
Trump.
state
I'm
government.
sorry,
He's not even in city
after
government.
Donald Trump and his Pinky and the Brain administration, no one ever gets to talk about qualifications.
Socialism
again.
will not
Sorry,
save the
bottom
capitalist
line is
capital of the
what
world.
I want to ask you a question. What is your evidence that Mamdani would return New York City to the 1970s hellhole Times Square? What is your evidence of
It's
that?
very simple. So he wants to raise taxes on people who make the most money.
Oh.
What eventually is
Oh.
going to happen is you're going to lose that tax base. Once you lose
They're
that
gonna
tax
leave?
base, our bonds will get degraded. Now the city budget will not be substantial enough to subsidize not only the cops but the fire department, the sanitation department. Once you start losing Wall Street and people who pay $11,000, $12,000 a month to live on the Upper East Side, you're done.
Let me ask
and you
you.
go back to the 70s when Gerald
And he's, by the way, he's making good points here. Right? He's making good points. He's saying things that I think are relevant. I think these are true. Sure.
Ford said to New York, drop dead.
Okay, but
and
hold
the
on,
whole
hold on,
fiscal
Arthur.
crisis.
But Arthur, just as somebody who is just listening to you, you raise the taxes on wealthy people in this
And then they
city.
leave.
Maybe a couple percent, right?
Then they
We
leave.
were
They're
already
already,
at 50%.
yeah, they're already,
53%.
and that's exactly my
Which is
point.
where they're on
They're
moving to
already
Miami.
paying some of the high.
Did you hear that?
I know.
What's
Arthur.
the logic? So because they're paying high taxes, if you charge them even higher taxes, they're not going to leave? Oh my God. Where do they come? Where do these people come from?
But Arthur, they are already paying right at this moment some of the highest taxes in the country, and you think that 1 or 2% is going to cause a mass exodus out of New York?
It could. It could. There's always the straw that breaks the camel's back. That's what's happened with California. That's why so many businesses moved from California to Texas.
I just
It already has started.
I just
It's
want to be
already
clear that that's what you're saying, because I think that seems pretty extraordinary.
Because he's also not going to focus on crime. Right now, you have Police Commissioner Tisch and John Chell, the chief of the department. Crime in the state.
And he's totally right. Baldy, Kingpin here, is right about this again. He's right. Crime is a massive fucking issue. People are getting their shit stolen. People are selling stolen goods on the street. Illegal aliens are being employed constantly. It's a massive issue.
The city of New York right now is set to break all records as the lowest ever in recorded history for shootings and murders. Once that starts going up in the other direction, and the tax base is gone, and sanitation is gone, and schools are gone.
Okay, last thing I will say, and then I'll let you in, Anna. The last thing I'll say, and then I'll let you in.
Holy fuck.
Under Eric Adams, crime did go up in the city.
And then went down.
Yes, but
That was during the pandemic. And migrants.
Exactly. But I'm just being clear. Crime has already gone up in New York, and it has come down. So even when crime went up in New York, there was perhaps some departure, but there was not a collapse of the tax base in New York City. Okay, Anna, go ahead.
Okay, so
Imagine what would happen if 3 bad things happened. Like, I mean, does this girl ever played WoW? Like, she knows 3 stacks of Sunder Armor makes you do more damage than 1 stack of Sunder Armor, right? I mean, this is fucking obvious. If you've got multiple debuffs, then it's more effective than 1 debuff. Everybody knows that. How do people not know this? It's so obvious.
I am not a New Yorker.
What's going
I live
on?
in Miami, where we don't have 50% tax rate.
I've already flown.
We have our share of insane elections and insane politicians, but this reminded me, you talked about the Dinkins election. To me, this reminded me of the AOC versus Joe Crowley election, where there was this establishment sacred cow who thought that because of his name and because of his pockets, he could walk into it. And there was a young upstart who put a lot of leather and a lot of footwork and
boots on the ground.
and boots on the ground and did it. And so, I would say when it comes to New York, do not underestimate the sweat of these folks. And by the way,
he won. I'm not underestimating.
I would just say this.
And I would not have voted for him.
If you were saying that Eric Adams is the person who's this loves this result the second most compared to after Mamdani.
He'll be the anti-Mamdani.
But I will say this, the people who hate this result the most are the Democratic establishment. We have seen poll after poll after poll showing Democratic voters.
That is the exact mindset that I have about the protest vote. That is exactly what I think.
Fed up with their leaders in Washington. Fed up with their leaders in government. And all of a sudden, Andrew Cuomo, who 5 years ago was leading those COVID, press conferences, was this guy who was held in such high esteem. And now all of a sudden, the best he...
Flip the board over, burn the motherfucker down, do not accept the lesser of two evils, do not be pacified, do not let this happen.
Can do is what, 37%
62% of Democrats.
They
were talking about 62% of Democrats say that their
So
party
Republicans
had
the Tea Party. This is the Chai Party taking over the Democrats.
Chai Party.
And I run campaigns for Republicans all over the country. If they turn to 33-year-old socialists who've never run popsicle stands, that's great for us. We'll win a lot of elections.
So can somebody explain this to me now? So this could end up, so Cuomo could end up running as an independent. Adams ends up as an independent, and then this guy.
In other words, it ain't over.
This is the way I see it, right? And Zoran was for defunding the NYPD. Yeah, well, how's the NYPD doing now? I mean, aren't they all doing that? And also, by the way, bloating hard is bloated tard arguing for the status quo. Why does it always seem like there's a self-destruction plan from the Democrats, like they want to sabotage themselves? It's because they're captured by identity politics. That's the issue, is that so much of Democrat positions are caricatured by identity politics that it's impossible for them to divorce themselves from the extremists and the radicals that they've attracted. And that's really the main reason why it's happened. And NYPD didn't do shit anyway. Yeah, exactly, right? And so, I don't know, it seems like every candidate that the Democrats are pushing is a brain-dead option. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't would I vote for Eric Adams instead? I don't know enough about the guy. But I will say that the moment that I hear somebody, the first thing that they would want to do as mayor is go to the Holy Land. No, bro, if you are the mayor of my city, your Holy Land is right here. That's the way I see it. That's my opinion, right? The moment I hear that shit, I'm out. I'm out. That's it. I'm done. Get to fucking work? Yes. And so, yeah, stay in your fucking city. And, yeah, they aren't true. Yeah, Adams is more corrupt than Cuomo. He's even worse. Well, maybe that's it. Your point on this makes sense, but the core values of American democracy won't push the needle far. The chaos won't help, so it'll only spread more socialist values. Well, trying to make things better by making them worse is the only thing that I can do, and I think it's the most effective thing that I can do. And I have no problem doing something that I think is maybe destructive in order to achieve a larger goal that I think is beneficial. And I wish more people saw it that way. I definitely do. And Holy Land, are we back to crusading? Yes, clearly. It's accelerationism. Yes, exactly. And I'm from Israel. I agree with you 100%. And if you're an Israeli, I don't guys, let's be real, right? If you're an Israeli, I totally get it. I totally understand where you're coming from. But in the same way that you should be advocating for your country, we want to be advocating for ours, right? And that's it. It's just that simple. So you can listen to this guy's the message here too, and we'll watch one more of these. I want to move on past this. There's a bunch of other stuff I want to talk about. You're for universal income, but not high taxes for the wealthiest people in New York. I just don't think I don't think that as a mayor, I think that the solution to that has to be on a federal level. So I agree with the idea, but I don't agree with the implementation. Does that make sense?
Good morning, everyone. We are approaching the dawn of a new era in New York City. We are turning the page on the corrupt politics of the past that made this the most expensive city in the United States of America.
See, this is an average person's issue. Money, directly money.
Today, I am filled with gratitude for the more than 50,000 volunteers that have powered this campaign for the last 8 months, for the tens of thousands more who have already cast their ballots. And I'm filled with conviction that we will win this race. We've shown that by focusing on the issues of working and middle-class New Yorkers across this city, that by listening instead of lecturing, that by creating a politics of no translation, New New Yorkers will join you in your fight for a new city. What we offer is a way to sustain this city that I so deeply love. What we offer is a vision to keep New Yorkers in the place that they call home, and an antidote to the Trump administration and the hatred and the division that it spews.
Yeah, like I think that's stupid, but everything else, these are all, again, individual, personal things that people care about.
You're showing people
Yeah.
that hope is not something that is naive. It is in fact righteous when it is built upon a plan and a vision. We are showing New York City that a better day is possible. And today is the first of many of them. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so there it is. And high taxes for the rich never works. They get tax deductions and move their money to Switzerland. There's all, like, high taxes doesn't work. How much do you want to bet that if you took the top 5 tax evaders in the country, like you got Donald Trump together, you got Bill Clinton together, you got George Soros together, and you got, let's see, who else? Who doesn't pay any taxes and fucks around on their taxes all the time? Bill Gates, maybe something like that. And maybe Elon Musk. Yeah, you get these 5 guys together. Somehow they're all on the same team. I guarantee you that they can come up with a tax code that prevents that from happening. Guaranteed. The thing is that the reason why this happens is that the people that run the government are retarded, and in the cases where they're not retarded, they're bribed. And so that's it. No, these guys could figure it out without a question. Yeah, they would immediately. It's the same as Trump put those tariffs on, and he tariffed the Penguin Island immediately. Everybody said, well, why did you tariff the Penguin Island? Well, he says, well, because people usually route it from the Penguin Island to avoid tariffs. How would you know that? Because you're a scammer. That's how you know that. And so if you're a scammer, you can see other scams. And so I guarantee you, bring together the top 5 biggest scammers, and you're going to be able to come up with a system that you can't fucking scam. And that's it. Fucking penguins. Yes. No, I'm being serious. Absolutely. He knows how to play the game. Yes, people know how to play the game. And so, yeah, this is the reason why I think this guy won. Zohar Madami, a Muslim Democratic Socialist, has won the New York City primary for mayor. Yeah, again, if they didn't want this to happen, they should have avoided running candidates that said that the Holy Land wasn't New York City. If you are the mayor of New York City should be your Holy Land, not Israel. It is a joke. It is a joke. Oh my God. Where are these people coming from? So yes, and change the subject. I know. I feel very strongly about this. I do. And again, like, this is stuff that I agree. Let's see here. What would I agree with? End cash bail. I don't know about this. Repeal the walking while trans ban. I don't even know what that is. Decriminalize sex work. I think that's okay. Legalize marijuana. I agree with that. Safe injection sites. This sounds like bullshit. Restrict solitary confinement. I don't really know about this. Enact elder parole. I don't know about that. Decriminalize simple drug possession. I agree with that. Repeal all mandatory minimum sentences. I disagree with this. Reduce maximum sentences with retroactive effect. I also disagree with that. I think we need to have more people. Guys, I'm a big fan. So this is going to sound bad. I'm a big fan of putting a lot of people in jail. That's what I think we need to do. We've got a big problem. We've got a lot of people causing issues. The solution is we put all of them in jail. Anybody who's causing problems, you're shitting on the street. Okay, jail. You're selling fake IDs. Jail. You're going, you skip the subway fare. You save 79 cents. Believe it or not, jail. That's right. I work in rehab, but I can't begin to tell you how abused they are by the homeless who have no intention of ever stopping their drug use. Yeah, listen, guys, I know obviously there's bad people in rehab, and there's some people that are drug users and everything, and they do need to be put in jail. But the reason why they need to be put in jail isn't because they're drug users, it's because they're bad actors. I think that's more the case than anything else. So, yeah. And they had safe injection sites in San Francisco, and it fucked the city. Yeah, I don't know. Asmon would arrest someone stealing food to survive. Of course, I would. I would do that without a second of hesitation. Instantaneously, I would arrest somebody stealing food to survive, because the people who they're stealing the food for need to sell food to survive. What business and what right do they have to take away somebody else's right to survival in order to benefit their own? Absolutely not. No, it's always easy to think like that, but you never think about the second order effects. So yes, absolutely, I do it, and that's just the way it is.